right, here we are. Welcome to Star Technology. I am pretty excited for today. As you saw by the title, we're getting into some fun stuff today. So I want to start getting into some of that Texas tea or, liquid gold, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get into some work with some oil today. We're going to do a little bit of work on applied energistics today. I want to get working a bit more with the auto crafting setup, which I'm pretty excited for. We've been doing a fair bit of work, and we're going to go through all of that right away here. Start kind of showing you some of the new things that we got going on, different things that we're up to, stuff like that. So I'm definitely excited to show you guys that. Alright, just doing one thing real quick here, then we'll get going. Okay. Let me just get this up and going here. Blah, blah, blah. There's something I can't see on screen. Of course, it doesn't want to work at the moment. There we go. Okay. So, black gold. Off camera, I started working on a few different things. We've seen the process of making different machines and all that, so I decided to take some time and do a bulk setup of our main machine guys here. So I wanted to get them going. Seems a little loud. Let's just turn maybe those down to 60. There, that might be a bit better. So we'll give that a shot. But yeah, we've crafted many machines before. We've done all this, so I wanted to change it up a bit and make the rest of them off camera. So I made a full set of machines for us. It was getting really bad for a little bit there. I was starting to take some of these different machines, especially the harder ones to craft, like the assemblers and like this assembler and whatnot. I was starting to use them upstairs. And then once I got to a point where auto crafting could kind of take over and I could use my original machines for the auto crafting, I started making a whole new set of machines for me. So we do have some duplicates around here. You can see there's an electrolyzer and there's one mixer. So we do have some duplicates, but that's perfectly fine. Some I wasn't accounting for. Like I realized after I finished that we have 2 distilleries. But that's fine. He's been constantly running, making distilled water for a processing plant, so I still have a distillery for me. They're not the most common to use, but whatever, I still need one. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to do is take a quick second here, because I noticed between streams we gained a new follower. So Asan Mike, I appreciate the follow. Helps me out dearly, so it was fun watching your stream and checking out your hightail last night. So that was good times. Anyways, the other thing I wanted to mention before we kind of really dive into things, today's going to be a little bit shorter of a stream. We're going to go for 3 hours instead of the normal 4 hours for Star Technology. I got a couple things I need to do this afternoon, so I need to switch that up a little bit, but that's okay. The other thing I'm going to mention is we're going to do a bonus stream of Star Technology tomorrow, because Friday I'm not actually here. So we need to do that tomorrow instead, so we keep up on our schedule, or the amount of streams we do per week and everything. So we're gonna do Star Technology tomorrow, same time as today, so 4 minutes from like earlier than it is now, kind of thing. So same time, but we're gonna do Star Technology tomorrow as well. So if I had to guess, the progress between today's stream and tomorrow's stream will probably be a little less than what you're about to see for today. That's fine. As it is, as things are starting to kind of get into the nitty-gritty fun stuff a little bit more and more, I'm gonna be doing less stuff off stream and more back on stream, so progress will kind of slow down a bit, but you guys will get to see a lot more of the fun, exciting stuff that's going on, which will also free up my time a bit more to start some other things coming down the pipe. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited for those. Okay, so I think that's everything caught up for the TED Talk. Trying to remember here other things that you guys would have, that'd be new compared to last stream. I think one of them is the pattern access terminal. I don't think we did that one on stream. I'm not going to open up his inventory because that'll spoil what's coming. Okay, other things. So back here has definitely changed a lot. So there's no sifter system, there's no vaults, all of that's gone. It's all been torn out, redone. So now we have our 4 main sifter guys. They're getting from the interfaces a bunch of cobblestone and blackstone. They are crushing all that down, and then we have all these sifters going non-stop, doing everything that the sifter system used to do, but just doing it better. So now we have basically unlimited of the 4 main dust types. So they're all going to get up to that 262k, and then after that they're going to get voided. That way I didn't have to micromanage throttling the crushers. They'll just run and do their thing. So we're not too worried about what they're doing and how all that's going. We're just going to let it void. He can run. It's all good. So right now I'm not doing blackstone. I have this guy on sand. He's on gravel. He's on dust. This guy was going to do blackstone, but I stopped him for a bit to do some sand so we could get a buildup of diamonds. We need those. I've expanded our create steam engines again. So that's fun. So now we have 2 more. And guess what? We're still out of stress units, even though we're making 1.1 million of them. And that's because of these guys. So one of them is not quite full length. I did find out you can actually wall share these guys, so they can both utilize the magnets. So that's nice. It saves us a bunch of neodymium. So I have enough stuff to complete the other 2 rings. We just don't have the stress units for it. So if I upgrade it one more time, that should be the last time we need to upgrade it. And then we have 2 of these for a grand total of like 60,000 RF per tick, or just shy of 60,000. Yeah, it'd be 59,000 RF per tick from these guys. So I did figure out there is a limit. They can only go up to 8 long. After that, you're just burning stress units and not gaining any power. So 29,500 RF per tick, or whatever it actually calculates out to, is the limit. This guy is pretty close to 22,000, so he needs 2 more. But we need the stress units. So that's been changed. I started going through some of our machines that we have sitting around here. So like this rock filtrator is now at high voltage. Same with the void extractor. He's been switched to high voltage, so he's moving a lot quicker. This guy is still an absolute bottleneck. I'm going to have to commit and just spend a couple hours and make 1 or 2 more of those. Probably make 3 more, if I'm being honest. 2 more to help with the distilled water, and then 1 dedicated to the sodium persulfate that we have to do. This machine is new. He is also at high voltage. He is grabbing us heavy oil. He's been running for a while now. So if we grab our... Nope, not the crossbar. I need you. So if we check out the chunk that we're in, we're down to 63% of this chunk remaining. Unfortunately, we do lose because we're just using the basic fluid drilling rig. Even though it says advanced, it's the simplest of the 3. So he actually will deplete this heavy oil reserve. So I might use him and 1 more, and then hopefully by then we can get to the fancy one that goes from 100% depletion rate to like 12.5%. So they should last significantly longer, but it was kind of nice when you look at the chunks. He's stuffed within this chunk, so we'll probably move him either to this one or to this one later on. Haven't decided quite yet which direction we're going to go, but I don't really care about mining out all the oil around here, because this is the temporary base. This is just to kind of get us going and all that, and start making all the components. Eventually, I think we're going to move in that direction, because it's a dripstone cave over there. I like the color of the grass way better, but we're eventually going to be building a new base over there. This one's the temporary ugly one, but it's enough to keep us alive and keep us afloat and make all our resources. And then once the new base is built, everything's set up the way we want it to kind of get us started, then we're going to switch back on AE2 channels, which will shut this whole base down because we're way exceeding. Like, really, we should be only at a limit of 24 channels, and we're at 157. So, because each of these can only handle 8. So, he'll shut down. But the new one, we're going to do it properly with all the channels, peer-to-peer networks, everything. I'm really excited for that. And then we should have about 21,000 channels available to us if I go with that core. So, but that's definitely down the road. We're still a ways from that. We need to... I have a checklist of all the components I need to make the AE2 core, all the wireless transmitters, everything I need to get it up and running so we can get the full 21,000 channels. So it'll be a little bit of a pain in the butt to build that guy because it recommends a shrinking device, and I don't think we have that. Nope, we sure do not. We only have the Shrieker, which is not going to help us in this situation. So we'll have to go get the... We'll have to kind of build that core. It's going to be interesting doing it that way. I don't think there's any kind of device that can shrink your physical size. So, yeah, not sure how we'll get around that problem, but we'll figure something out at that time. So I might just have to do it in layers and really plan it out, but yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out. Okay, so checking out this molecular assembler, or the pattern terminal. As you can see, we have lots of things going on in here. So we do have our full 16 molecular assemblers, all with our pattern providers. So that's taking care of our regular crafting. And we've also got a decent amount of machines going with all these recipes that I've been teaching them. So this is, we've hit the point now where all of our high voltage machines we can fully craft with a single click of a button, which is nice. So if I tell it, hey, I want another assembler, the AE2 system can make it for us. And how it makes it for us is up on this floor. So we'll start on this direction. So these are all our molecular assemblers and pattern providers. These are what's doing all the crafting. So you can see all the items are in here that we just saw a minute ago. So each one's full. And then the molecular assembler actually does the crafting itself. I put in a secondary CPU core. So we have alpha and beta, which is pretty cool. This is what the diamonds were used for. We'll just make a side note just because we're standing here staring at it. But we do have some lapidary dynamos. They're all going quite a few thousand RF per tick. I think we did something with those the last stream, but oh well. And then, yes, this here is the assembly line. So we have a whole bunch of pattern providers on all of these machines doing their job. At the time, I was starting to kind of get low on resources and was tired of manually crafting a bunch of these machines. So I started borrowing a bunch of our MV machines, or just making them because they were cheaper at the time. Yeah. So I made one of the mechanical sieves. The other 3 are now made, so they're all good to go. So I'm excited. And welcome back, Button. Nice to see you back. So we're just showing off some of the applied energistics that we've been setting up upstairs. So our full nice assembly lines of different machines, stuff like that. And I'm hoping right away here we're going to get into a higher tier voltage so we can start swapping out these pattern providers for ones that have 4 or 6 rows per. And then we'll start replacing all these machines with either high voltage or extreme voltage, which we should be able to get into today, actually. So we'll do that. We'll work on doing some of the oil processing. I do have everything made that we need for the distillation tower that's sitting right here. It's been waiting patiently for us to get into that. So I'm excited about that. So I don't know if you'd seen earlier, but yeah, out here is all changed around. So Moved all our crushing for dust, sand, gravel, and blackstone. It's all done through that. And then, yeah, we have all the seeds going. So everybody's running nice and happy. So we're swimming in diamonds. It can totally keep up with the lapidary dynamos that are going now. So we'll have to go and redo or add some more lapidary dynamos to kind of get things going. A little bit more power because we're on the bleeding edge. It's enough to keep up. Like, the buffer is always full, but we're, like, real close to not having enough power to keep up. So I appreciate it. Trying to keep things as compact and kind of systematically laid out as I can. So the MV machines are kind of getting in the way of that, but eventually there'll be another row of high voltage machines, this row, all that kind of stuff. So it's just a bunch of these machines hanging out, doing their job. I'll probably have to start putting in more energy converters soon, because we're not even hitting the machines pretty hard right now, and we're at like 8 of the 16 amps. Maybe between 8, 9 amps. So it's a little bit full on our power capacity, but that's okay. So the first thing we're going to do, so I already went ahead and taught it what it needs. You can kind of see some glimpses of it here, but we're going to make an advanced assembler number 3. So we'll show that going. So we're going to tell it to go. These are all the resources that it's going to need. It's going to have to go through and craft it. So it does have to make some processors, stuff like that. It's going to have to make our EV circuits. So we'll let that guy go. Actually, we'll help it out a bit because I've been keeping these in stockpile. So now it shouldn't have to make those. Yeah, only has to make 2 of them now. Okay, so we'll start that. And here all the machines come to life. So a bunch of them are starting to move and starting to do their jobs. You'll see the assemblers going. So let's see where we're at now. Yeah, 9, high 9s, 10 amps. So we're going to definitely start using up a fair bit of power, but that's okay. I'm just glad I don't have to sit here and craft all this stuff myself. One thing I want to take a look at, because we're going to start making some more of these machines, is our neodymium supply. How is that looking? Honestly, better than I thought. 474 ingots of neodymium, that's not bad. So we'll let him do his thing for a little bit. In the meantime, let's go put together our distillation tower. Trying to think of a good spot to put this guy. Technically, we have EV power. I think we're going to put him over here, because down below, and I'll show it here, originally everything used to run off of one 16 amp converter. I made another 16 amp converter specific to all of these machines back here. So all of these guys, because we were starting to run into power problems where all our machines around the edge, when they started hitting, like turning on and doing their thing, it started to really slow some stuff down. So I had to change it around a little bit. Okay, so we are doing a P2 distillation tower for now. Eventually we'll have to expand it to get more outputs so we're not losing fluids, but right now we're just working on dealing with the oil. So, because we know it's a 3x3, we probably want 1 block gap between him and the first distillation tower. That gives us some space behind, so I say we put him right here. That looks like a good spot. Let's grab our terminal. And yeah, that looks fine. Let's do some changing around a little bit here. I did go a little fancy with this guy. He does have an auto maintenance hatch. Oops. Okay, so we're going to put him there. Just trying to think. I might put power up front. I was looking at the centrifuge recipe for soul sand. Which one's that one? Let's take a look here. I am curious. Centrifuge or... Not sure which one that one is. Could be... Yeah, I'm not sure. That's okay. Okay. Item outputs. So we'll try and do all the outputs in the back. So let's see here. Oh. Oh, yeah. 2.65% chance. Oh, yeah. That's definitely really, really low. Okay, let's do maybe input there. We'll do the item output there. So maybe we'll fill those guys in. And then we're going to take these guys out. I'm going to assume this needs to be hollow. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. I saw the structure pop in. Okay, structures form. Maintenance is fine. I don't have to worry about maintenance on him anymore. A lot of our machines, we're probably going to start switching them over to these auto maintenance hatches, so I don't ever have to think about them again. The other thing is, somebody was mentioning to me that the regular maintenance hatches, every time it does a recipe, it checks to see if it needs to damage itself. Which, apparently when you start getting into large scale and lots of machines and stuff going on, it can actually cause problems in the long run. So, something to keep in mind. That's around 1.7 coal dust per stack of 64 soul sand. Yeah, that is not good at all. Like, that is... Yeah, that is really bad. I mean, you do get oil, so that's not, that's, you know, that's a little bit of a nice byproduct to it. You don't really care about sand. But I guess technically you could set an infinite loop between the centrifuge and haunting, and then start cycling your sand, going back into soul sand, blah, blah, blah. Just keep topping it up with sand whenever you need to, and then eventually it'll just turn into infinite oil, coal dust, and saltpeter. So, not the worst. Just decent source of nitrogen and oxygen, and then obviously potassium. Yeah, it is so easy to make soul sand. Just throw it in a haunter, away you go. So no need to mess around with all kinds of other stuff. Ugh, not for me. Okay. So let's grab some cables. We'll run those guys up there. Do I have any Lumia wire? 26 of them. Okay, let's break a hole in the slab. And look at that. There's a wire right there. Almost like it knew we were coming. So let's wind that up. Cap our schnips. Okay. So he'll be nice and full of power. I'm pretty sure the distillation tower, let's just double check it in case I misread it, because I can easily make another one. Distillation tower, multi-block. Oops. Where'd that go? There it is. Fuel refinery has subtick parallels. Nowhere does it say that we can't run this guy at EV. So why don't we do that? Let's just break that. Let's take a minute here. Let's go grab another quick energy hatch. Still trugging away at this. Let me guess. Did I Did I mess something up? I haven't actually tried doing any kind of EV machine. I want to do the first one. Neodymium rod. What is up with you? Mr. Polarizer. You've got power. Maybe we can't... Oh, it has to be a high voltage polarizer. Do I have one? Okay, that's fine. Let's just grab all that it wants to do. I know I have a high voltage polarizer. Oops. Let's just do this real quick right here. Now I'm curious because that's going to suck it in through there. I wonder if it's going to... Oh, it does. It totally knows. Okay, so it can update and adjust its schedule. Okay, that's good. So we'll have to do a quick polarizer. So, yeah, let's get him going. Yep, we've got everything we need. So I can only do 2 crafting things at a time because I only got the 2 crafting CPUs, but that's okay. And there we go. As seen on stream, our first high voltage, or extreme voltage machine. Yep. EV. Look at that. Man, that's crazy. I love that. That makes me so happy. Because... Where are they? Right here. I had everything I needed, including the pattern, to make the extended pattern provider, and I couldn't do anything with it. So we're going to leave that guy right there. Let's take a quick 30-second pause so I do not forget. Lathe polarizer. Let's grab that guy. We're going to grab a pattern provider. Real quick here. We'll just go with a basic one. I don't think we need that many. I really do. Polarizers are not a machine I use very often. Okay. So we'll convert them into that. And this kind of gives you an idea on how so far I've figured out for crafting this stuff. So I'll kind of go through everything in just a second here. Let me just make up a couple quick components. Right here. Okay. So if you want to hook up a machine to Applied Energistics, so far this is the way that I've kind of figured out how to do it. There might be easier methods, but this is kind of what works for me. So we take our polarizer, we make sure to set him to output to the top, so upwards on the machine you can see the orange ring, and then we also want to make sure that he's allowed items from the output side, so we can have basically bi-directional. How's it going, Logger Dog? And then, once we set his bi-directional inventory management, then we can use what's called the pattern provider. And what he's going to do is he's going to look at the pattern, and the pattern essentially tells this pattern provider that if I give you in this case, a regular neodymium rod, you're going to give me back a magnetic neodymium rod. So what the pattern provider will do is through the top of the machine, it'll send a magnetic rod in. The polarizer will then polarize it, and then it'll send it back out. And because the machine will push it back into the pattern provider, which will complete that step of the recipe. So Greg Tech, in particular, has a weird little feature. It has circuit settings. And depending on the setting that this is set to, there's anywhere from 0 to 32. Depending on the circuit number that is set to, will determine the recipe that it's trying to make. Because there are some recipes that use the same materials, but make different outcomes. So you have to be able to tell it which outcome you're looking for specifically. Now, normally, because Applied Energistics can't go into the GUI of the machine and switch that number. That has to be done by the player. So, if there was no good solution for this, you'd essentially have to make 33 of every single machine, of every single power tier, and then for stuff like extruders that have these different molds in them, because we also can't change the molds in them, we'd have to make 33 of each of those machines. So you might have to end up making like 500 extruders, all to only have like one pattern per. It's that bad. Thankfully, there's a mod out there that takes care of that. So you take a crafting card and a program circuit, which just looks exactly like it, and it's going to give you a program circuit card. Now, when we put this in here as an upgrade card, and that will bridge the gap and solve that problem for us. Now the pattern provider, when the pattern goes in, can set this machine to whatever circuit setting it needs to make sure that it knows it. So let's look at a recipe that might have it. Say electrum dust. So we know in a mixer you need gold, silver, and program circuit 1. Go to fill in the recipe. You'll see in the pattern terminal it's gold, silver, and program circuit 1. But I don't need to actually provide it circuit 1. That card will do it. You have to tell it the setting, or does it look at JEI? So that's where this portion comes into in particular. This is how it knows which setting it needs to set it to. So maybe we can do something else here. Let's look at 8x electrum wire. So we want to do that in the wire mill. It needs 4 electrum ingots and program circuit number 8. So this is where we put it in, is right in the encoding. So normally, if you didn't have this card that we were talking about, this program circuit card, if I wanted to do this recipe right now without that program circuit card, and we can showcase. I'll show you kind of what happens here. So we're going to try to make 8x electrum wire. Let's go over to our wire mill, wherever he is. Wire mill, right there. So let's just take out that recipe for now. We'll put this guy in, and we're going to take this program circuit card out. Okay, so we're going to make 8x electrum wire. So without that card, this is the problem I'm going to run into. So say, okay, I need a lot of this. I need big, high amperage, stuff like that. So let's make 1,000 of them. It says I'm missing 1,000 of these circuits for number 8. And you can technically make them as an item. We just made one to make the card, but I don't want to use 8,000 MV circuits to make 8,000 program card number 8s just to have them do nothing, because it's just going to put it in the machine. The machine's going to not know what to do with it, and it's going to freak out. But still, the JEI recipe says, hey, my recipe tells me I need program card number 8, so what do I do with it? So that's where these cards come in and tell you, nope, you don't need it. So we'll put that program card back in. We'll go in, we'll do the exact same recipe for 1,000. Now it's just upset about the fact that we don't have enough electrum, obviously, but now it doesn't care about the program circuit anymore. So we can also show it in example. So if we go back to the wire mill, we're going to set him to 32. Okay, we're just going to do that ourselves. Then we're going to go down, and we're just going to make one of these. So we'll set it, then we'll head back up. Go back to the wire mill. See, he's already set himself back to 8, and you just saw it blink for a split second there. It crafted the wire for us. So that's how we get around that entire problem. So they're kind of expensive-ish but by the time you get into ME systems, making your LV circuits does get cheaper, but to make the program circuit, to make the program circuit card, you need to provide it. You just put one of the LV circuits into a crafting table, and that'll make it. This recipe in particular, the ME system doesn't like. I might have something wrong, I'm not sure, but I could not get it to just make me program circuit cards. It did not like that, so I just craft a crafting card, make a program circuit, put it together myself. I don't make them very often, so it's fine. I'm going to look into this one down the road, but for now, making this card has been a problem for it. That might come down to the fact that it's like, hey, you don't need this circuit, but you actually do need this circuit. Could be some weird things. So that's the only kind of weird caveat I've seen. Alright, so we'll put that back. So, but yeah, back to our polarizer. So he's an HV machine. We give him our program circuit card, give him our pattern. Done. Easy peasy. So this is what's been working really well for me for just doing all kinds of different little machines into the applied energistics system. Seems to work fine. Okay, so now we need to do one more little bit of crafting before we can continue back with making lava, or oil. So we don't need that electrum wire. Okay, so let's make an HV energy hatch. So there's all the resources we're gonna need. Let's get started. So for that one, by default, the standard applied energistics pattern provider can only handle 9. If you make the, it's called a mega, but it's actually, if you look up pattern provider. So this is our base one, the ME pattern provider, applied energistics. That's the one that I said. This one can only do 9. These two things are the same thing. You just put them in a crafting table and it switches it from more like a panel to a full-size block. If you make the enlarged pattern provider, which is also the mega pattern provider, it takes this one. This guy can hold 18 slots, 2 rows. If you eventually, you can make the extended pattern, and this guy holds 36. Then you can have 36 patterns per machine. Now, I would be doing that, but you saw me just make our brand new assembler. To make the extended pattern providers, you need an EV assembler, and we just made it. So right now, I'm not using these guys, but shortly here, I will go and convert all of these, because you'll notice that's an assembler, that's an assembler, because all of my assemblers are getting filled up. So now I could condense both of those assemblers into one and have another 36 when I do the next one. So hopefully that gives you a rough idea. I know when I was getting into this, because I didn't really want to spoil too much with this mod pack, I wanted to kind of learn it for myself. I wasn't sure how it was going to go integrating all these multi-blocks or machines and stuff like that into applied energistics, but in the grand scheme of things, these little, you know, it's honestly not that bad. It's crazy when you first get into it, but I bet you a button after you spend 20 minutes with applied energistics, you'll have it like the back of your hand, and then you're going to come in here and be like, hey man, you're doing things wrong, and I'm going to tell you now how to do it right. And I'm going to be like, oh, thank God, because I can't do it right. Okay, there's our energy hatch. So we can put that clean stainless steel. And I really hope it does, because I love learning new things from people. In fact, I can't even take credit for knowing how those circuit cards worked. A buddy of mine, who's been in chat before, Sir Toby, he's also playing the mod pack on his own, but alongside me. And he actually figured that one out. So he ended up teaching me on that one. Okay, so... Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. No. Apparently these things can only take one. No. So sad. Oh well. That's fine. We'll get back into our... I was really hoping I could, like, make this guy run at EV by putting 2 HV energy hatches in there, but... oh well. Okay. So that's our fluid input, item output, or whatever little bits of items, and then we have 4 fluid outputs. Now, I chose 4 in particular because the first thing we're going to be processing with this guy. And we're going to have to make lots of those distillation towers. Like, lots of them. We're going to go through heavy oil. So, I've been leaving that thing, the drilling thing, running for a while now. So we have 7,700 buckets of this. So let's see what we do with the distillation tower. So the reason I chose 4 outputs, for those that are interested, and if you already know, feel free to tune out. But if you're wondering, so we're going to take the heavy oil, we're going to put it into that machine, and you'll notice how it makes 4 different fluids. There's a potential of 12 slots, but it only makes 4 different fluids. If you do not have enough output buses on the machine for all the fluids that it's going to make, at random, whatever cannot fit in the output when it does the craft, you do not get. It's just gone. So if I only made 2 of them, it may decide I'm going to only make sulfuric gas and sulfuric heavy fuel, and then I lose the sulfuric light fuel and the sulfuric naphtha. It's just gone. So because I know it makes 4, I made 4 outputs. That's why I chose to do that. Okay, so we're going to make... Let's make 4 more of those. Dang, we still got a decent amount of these little... The engineering processors. Happy about that. We've been burning through logic processors pretty good. Same with calculation. We are really burning through calculation processors. I think I made 3 stacks of them, like a couple days ago, and they're all gone, and it's been making tons more. And that's still from the original 3 stacks, so I'm happy about that. Or 4 stacks. Oh, 3. I only made 3 stacks. Made 4 of those and 4 of those, so yeah, we're burning through those like crazy. Okay, so we're going to use our ME import and export buses. So that's an input hatch, so we're going to put an export bus there. These guys are all red, so they're all outputs, so we're going to do a bunch of import buses. This took me a while when I first got into applied energistics. It was really confusing. You'd think an import is imported into the machine, but it's not. It's imported into the ME system. So you have to think these things go in the direction of the ME system. So if you want to take it from the machine and put it in the ME system, you need to import it into the ME system. I remember that confusing me. I thought the recipe columns meant that I had to put multiple output hatches per tower floor. Oh, yeah. That one I could totally see. They're not really the most clear. I didn't know you could do this until way later. So if we look at the distillation tower, at the multi-block info, what tipped me off for how to do it, I was checking out the multi-block, and I'm like, okay, well, I see my 2 outputs. What do I do from there? And I was just hovering around, and I saw this, so I was clicking on this. And that's what tipped me off. I'm like, oh. So if we go all the way up to, 10, I guess. That'll give us all the outputs that we need. So that's a full-size distillation tower. So they aren't kidding when these things are massive. Yeah, 3 hatches per floor, I could totally see it, because it wants you to do it like this, where you make it taller and put 1 on each. Yeah, if you think how, this one's only 4, so it'd be like 3 times the size of this one. Like, that's craziness. Okay. So let's go back to our fluid provider, and we want heavy oil, so we're just going to remember that recipe over there. I love that they have this compatibility where I don't need to carry a bucket of this stuff around with me. You can just click and drag. And now the export bus knows to put fluid in there. Obviously, it's not going to at the moment because there's no cable connection. So let's see if we can find... Oh, there's one right there. Okay, so now we should see... There we go. It's filling up with heavy oil. So we're going to be nice to it. Let's throw a couple acceleration cards in there. We'll check on these guys. Yeah, they seem to be keeping up perfectly fine. Perfect. Probably honestly get away with a single acceleration card. Heck, we might even be able to get away with none. Oh yeah, it's perfectly fine with none. It's only using 100 millibuckets per craft. Okay, so every second, these are going to be our outputs per second. So 250 millibuckets of sulfuric heavy fuel, 45 millibuckets of sulfuric light fuel, 15 millibuckets of naphtha, and 60 millibuckets of gas. So that's also reassuring us that we're getting all 4 of our unique fluid types. So, come back to our terminal. Now they're going to be kind of bouncing around, but you can already see there's the sulfuric naphtha, the light fuel, it's already getting in there. Yeah, there's sulfuric gas. So it's starting to show up. So obviously this thing's going to be running. I'm going to try to do cracking on probably all of them. Let's take a look here. So let's memorize all 4 of those, and let's start looking through the recipes and see what we can do with all 4 of these. So let's start with sulfuric naphtha. So right away, so we could run it in a gas turbine if we wanted to. I'm guessing that's probably not the best thing to do. So we take 12 buckets of sulfuric naphtha and 2 buckets of hydrogen. That'll make us regular naphtha and hydrogen sulfide. So we could do that. Then we could mix it with some steam, do some steam cracked naphtha. And then we could turn that into ethylene, which is great. Methane, that's also really great. Some heavy and light fuels, benzene, ethane, toluene. Okay, so there's like all kinds of fluid if we did the severely steam cracked. That would be great. Lightly steam cracked. Looks like it's all about the same thing. Yeah, that'll have to be like full big boy tower. So it almost seems like... So we could hydro crack it, or we could steam crack it. I'm guessing. Let's look at the severely hydro cracked. Okay, so it refines it. It doesn't give you as much diversity in fluid, but you get more of these coupled fluids. So propane, like methane, you get a bucket and a half from that. So that's not bad. But right now, I'm kind of thinking the steam might be the way to go. And doing this severely. So let's just get a rough idea. 500, 500, 300, sure. We'll call it that. Let's look at the light. 200, 200, 200. Okay, so it looks like we get the same amount. It just takes way more time to do the severely steam cracked. So probably want to do... Yeah, our large chemical reactor, because that'll do the same recipe. Oh wait, severely 8 seconds instead of 12. So we could do our large chemical reactor, which is this guy sitting over here. Okay, so that's what we can do with naphtha. How about light fuel? I'm guessing it's probably going to be pretty similar. So we'll look at the severely, go to the distillation tower. Yeah, it looks like it's the same thing. So it looks like the naphtha and the light fuel kind of just do the same thing. They give us all these. The ethylene and butadiene are kind of the 2 big ones that are really nice, because I think it's the butadiene. Yeah, the hexafluoride and all that. That'll start getting us styrene, butadiene, rubber dust, which will get us into higher tiers of rubber. So those are 2 big ones. I would not be surprised if heavy fuel is about the same. So we could throw it... We'll probably, by the looks of it, yeah, we'll want to make a cracker for all of this rather than a chemical reactor, because you look at it, it's 1 bucket nets us half a bucket, whereas in this guy, it's 1 bucket nets us 1 bucket. So, and that's fine. So we'll do that. So, and then when we crack it down, I bet you heavy fuel. So we'll look at the severely steam cracked methane, ethane, butadiene. Okay, so it all kind of goes the same thing. Sulfuric gas. We could turn that down to refinery gas. And then right out of the gate, we could, with the centrifuge, make a bunch of methane and LPG. Not the most fun. Or we could turn it down into helium, methane, butadiene, propane, or ethane. Not bad. Not bad at all. What if we get this severely steam cracked? How does that look? All the same things, just a little bit more. Okay, so it looks like kind of our end goal with all of this is we need to make a few distillation towers. We'll probably make 4 more. Probably 4 full height ones. I kind of want to make a distillation tower for every recipe that we're going to do repetitively. Just so I'm not fighting over which person gets which machine. And then that way, as I'm getting oil, it's not like, oh, one's going to prioritize, say, sulfuric naphtha, and then I'm going to get a buildup of the other 3. All 4 of them will just have their own designated tower. It seems kind of overkill, right, especially at this tier in our worlds, but at the same time, it's just stainless steel. It's not the end of the worlds, and these distillation towers, I have a distinct feeling we're going to be using these things a lot, and probably for the foreseeable future. Make fish oil, seed oil, I don't really care. Diluted hydrochloric acid, not bad. And the quadria wastes, quadria solution. So yeah, we'll definitely have to do a fair bit of work with that. Charcoal byproducts, dimethylbenzene. That's not bad. I do know dimethylbenzene is something we have to do some work with. I didn't think it was for fulvic acid. Polybenzimidazole. Okay. But I know that's a higher tier rubber. So yeah, these distillation towers are definitely going to be a big need. Okay. Well, that's kind of sad about the high voltage energy hatch, but that's okay. We'll be ready for the next batch. So I think for now, we're not going to worry too much about our different fluid types. At the moment, we'll just kind of let them do their thing for a little while. One thing I do really want to work on, so we're doing a hybrid system for our storage of both Applied Energistics and Tom Simple Storage. That's how we're getting the wireless terminal. It's bound to that crafting terminal there. It's just the advanced wireless terminal. However, this guy cannot see anything in the drives, obviously. And it also can't do any of the auto-crafting stuff. So I think we should spend some time while we're kind of waiting for this guy to do his job. And, you know, we'll kind of come back to that maybe a little bit later. But I think in the meantime, what we need to do is we're going to start making this stuff. I did see this, a quantum bridge card. So the first thing we're going to do, because I want infinite range across dimensions for when we inevitably get to dimensions, but we're going to need a singularity, which is going to be a little expensive because we need a 64K storage component and 256,000 blocks of something. That's fine. We can do that. I've already gone ahead and taught this thing how to make a 64K storage. So as you can see, it's got to make NAND chips, microchip processors, a bunch more MV tier crap. It's got a lot of work to do, but that's fine. I absolutely love that. You hit start and you just watch the whole base come to life. Makes me so happy. Absolutely love it. One thing I found out yesterday, I was reading the book. If you want to make crafting things, all you need is just the crafting storage. That is one thread right there. Technically, just this green block is enough to be its own CPU itself. You don't need the crafting blocks themselves, wherever they are, the crafting units. Those literally are just filler blocks, so if you try to make like a big multi-cube monster one, if it's not a perfect rectangle, that just fills it in. And the crafting crow processors are also optional because they just allow you to do multi-threading. The only thing actually required in your crafting multi-block is the storage block itself. Funny. Because yeah, you'll notice, like, it's just a crafting block and one coprocessor, and this thing is doing multiple machines. But you could add 15 of the regular crafting units, and it won't craft any faster. But you add more crafting coprocessors, she'll start crafting faster. So, something I kind of found out. Which was great. And that discovery, because I had those blocks in there, because I always assumed for years now that I just needed them. So instead I made crafting monitors. And if you name the crafting monitor block, that's how you name the CPU. So then all our CPUs, if you look here, that's how we get the unique names on them. So we know which CPU is which. So if you have, like, obviously in the terminal it'll tell you how many coprocessors and stuff like that it's got. But in the grand scheme of things, you could just give it fun names. I was kind of thinking when we make a big base and I start making really big ones, we'll use, like, NASA names. Like, from different space programs or different spaceships or something like that. You know, Curiosity and... I don't know. I thought that'd be kind of fun. Doing the different rovers, the different satellites. Those kind of names. I thought those would be kind of fun for the CPUs in the new base. Yeah. Okay, so... we're going to work on getting a matter condenser. Aha. Roadblock number 1. We need another star and radon gas. How does one get radon gas? Well, that's just not happening. Okay, it looks like this is literally our only way. Uranium and plutonium and air. This might throw a giant wrench in my plans for today. Uranite. I don't think we even have uranite. How does one get plutonium? Ore vein. Yeah. I got the toothless dance. That can only mean one thing. Lag monkey is here. Okay, we might not be doing a terminal. Or at least not a quantumly linked terminal. Man, that sucks. Mercury and liquid gold. But that's at LUV. Yep, that kind of sucks, because we don't have plutonium. And we definitely don't have radon. And we 110% do not have ender air. Well, hang on. Oh, hang on. Hang on. We still can't do it technically right now because we don't have the infrastructure set up for EV, but air essence, 16 buckets of ender air. There we go. And then we put it through the vacuum freezer. That gives us liquid ender air. And then we could put him through the distillation tower. And there's our radon. Now we'd have to make a crap ton of liquid ender air, because that's literally 200 buckets turns into 1 bucket of radon. Like, that is really, really bad return. And we'll have to get into Ivy, which we can't tier skip with a distillation tower, because they can only have 1. So we're a little away from it. but not as far as I initially thought. That's good. I'll take that as a win. How is Lag Monkey? How be the working days? He's gonna do it again. Internet cut out. Go get a better phone. Hey. Okay. No nether stars for this guy at the moment. Because I don't think... Well, hang on. I might... I know we can make nether star. It's the radon we need after that to turn it into the quantum star. Yeah, okay. So we're a little bit away from that. But we're still going to make the terminal. Because, quite frankly, the current terminal only has 64 blocks of range, so we may as well just make it 64 blocks of range on the other one. If we can. I don't know if we can. Time for a dance party. I love a good dance party. Okay, so we want to make a wireless crafting terminal. I wonder if we can do the whole oh, we can, to make a universal terminal. Okay, so we want wireless crafting, wireless pattern access, and probably wireless pattern encoding. I think those three together would be a great idea, because then it's literally these 3 screens, but wherever we want. Crazy shop Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's that's what it is. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the lazy approach, and we're gonna make the crafting system do it for us. So it knows how to make those. Know how to make those. That can, whoops. That can go into the wire mill. Do dense energy cells. I can't really, well, I guess technically I could teach it that. Just put that in a mixer, that's fine. We'll have to sort of have somewhat keep these things separate, because that's regular crafting. And then we can do the dense energy cell. Okay, let's start throwing things in here so I'm not losing track. Okay, you need to go into the wire mill.
Lizard, 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 lizard.
Have you taught it how to make a diamond? No, not yet. I really want to do that. I think that'd be a fun idea. So I was talking to Toby.
Lizard, 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 lizard.
I was talking to Toby last night, and I had this stupid idea, and it might be fun. There's a certain batch of these machines, and I haven't quite figured out exactly which ones are yet, but there's a certain batch of these machines that you use quite often. So I wanted to do it because you can manually make recipes however you decide to. So my thought was teach the system and say, hey, you're going to make a diamond pickaxe. I'll do that real quick here. But instead of needing all these diamonds, I might do a processing pattern because there's a whole bunch of slots, and instead put in these slots all of the different machines that it needs, and then I'll just put it into, say, a barrel. And what it'll do is the pattern provider will say, oh, I have to craft all of these all these GregTech machines to make the diamond pickaxe. It'll put all the machines into a barrel, and then all I have to do is take all the machines out, put a diamond pickaxe in the barrel, have it get sucked back up into the system, and done. Just like that. It's made me an entire batch of machines, but all I was thinking it was making a diamond pickaxe. And I could do it with something like I'll never use, like a stone pickaxe. And then through one crafting button, which only takes one CPU, I can tell it, please make me a complete batch of machines. So that way, as the base gets bigger and more spread out, if I want multiple workstations, kind of like what you're seeing here, I got all my machines and all this. If I want workstations throughout the base, so I don't have to keep running all the way back to the main one. Through a single click of a button, here's all my machines, there's everything I need for my workstation, and then doesn't matter where I'm at, if I all of a sudden need a polarizer, boom, it's just like right there. I don't have to run or go fly through the base back to the main crafting area. So, I thought that might be kind of fun. Okay, let's see. Still need to do a little bit more teaching. Knows how to do that. Knows how to do almost all of that. Okay, so you two are crafting. You need to go to an assembler. Let's put it down there. And then you need to go to the wire... Oh, wait. Mixer. Macerator. Let's just look up a mixer. Do I have one? I do. Look at that. Okay. So let's say I want a wireless crafting terminal. Look at that. It's now going to make our wireless crafting terminal. Now let's teach it how to make the pattern access terminal. All the same crap. Let's teach it how to make that. And because I haven't done it yet, let's teach it how to make the diamond CPUs. So we'll throw you in there. And you two can go up there. And eventually I'll take these three out. Okay, so there's our crafting terminal. Let's tell it to make a pattern access terminal. Actually, I don't know why I taught it the regular terminal. It shouldn't need that. What are you, just a wireless terminal? Let's clear you out. Put you in there. Okay, you're going through, you're crafting your thing. Okay, pattern encoding. Let's do you. And we'll teach you how to make that screen. You go there. Yeah. He's still working along. There he goes. He's done. Okay. So let's just move those guys around real quick here. Okay, pattern access terminal, pattern encoding terminal, crafting terminal, and regular terminal. Okay. So we have our pattern access, we have our crafting terminal. Now I want my pattern encoding. Let's craft that. And it'll start going through and sending everything it needs to the right machines, all that stuff. It's amazing. It just does it all for me. I never have to think about it. It just works. For once, Todd Howard's statement was correct. It just works. And then I'll have to switch my keybinds and do all that stuff. So we'll give him a minute. Who do you stuck on? You're just waiting on mixers. Mixers are the bane of my existence, these things. I hate them, I hate them, I hate them. In fact, why am I even using him to do this crap? I should really, as soon as that's done, which it's done, we're going to make my life much easier right now. This pattern is going to go into that mixer. Now we can make Fluke's dust a little easier. Okay. So, that's going to give encoding and access, and then let's combine it again. And there we go. Let that fill up. Boom. So, device not linked. What do we need to link that with? I have no idea. We'll figure that out in a minute. Okay, so let's look up apply. I wonder if it'll actually just tell me right in the quiz book. Probably. Netherite, skystone, alloys. Okay, so there is a possibility to make the infinity booster range card at some point. No. What? ME requester and ME requester terminal. So I'll have to start planning out. I personally like to have 3 wide screens, so when there's an even number of screens, it drives me absolute batshit crazy. So the requester terminal might have to go, and we might have to do a plus. Because the crafting terminal, that's always the dead center. Usually, we're actually going to swap these around, because I never, ever... This is the defaults for me. So you're going to show fluids only. Because, yeah, this is how I like to do anytime I do applied energistics. Crafting terminal in the center, pattern encoder to the right, and then the fluid/gas terminal to the left. And you, I only want to show all and what is craftable. Then I can see what all my existing recipes are. You should be number of items. There we go. Okay, everybody's back to normal. Okay. So, I'm pretty sure we're going to need a wireless access point. So let's teach it how to do... Oops. Teach it how to do that. And then we're going to teach that real quick in the wire mill. We're generic crafting. Let's go to the wire mill. We'll throw you in there. Okay. Wireless terminal. Please start making that. And then we'll probably need... Unless it's the wireless receiver. No, doesn't say. Well, that's... How about you? Allows wireless access via wireless terminal. Range of power. Okay, so this is what we use to bind it. Requires a channel. Also used to bind wireless terminals. That's... Okay, that's great. Okay. So if we find we're in a position where we've run out of, like, range, we can just put, like, say way over here the wireless terminal just can't reach anymore. Well, there's an ME cable right there. We could just tag in another wireless access point and it'll keep going. In theory. But we're going to do the core guy right there. Love it. Because he's allowed 16 meters. Okay, so that's the crafting. Pattern encoding. Look at that. Okay. So now, I bet you if we go all the way out here, wireless out of range. So now if we do... Let's make one more of those. This is why I wanted it, so I can actually do my auto crafting right from my wireless terminal. Today, Junior. I've already got wireless power. Hence jet boots and all that. There we go. Okay. So let's put this to the theory. So say we put him here. Just like that. And then we could put another one over here. I don't like that. Descending number of items. There we go. Now everything's normal. Let's grab... Whoops. No, that's this one. We need this one. Let's make another one of those. At least up until I can either get the quantum bridge or... Because this one should... Yeah, he's got quantum bridge card. There's a dedicated slot for it. And then if we want, we could put extra cells in there if we wanted to. And then we can also see all our craftings, all that stuff. It just works. There. So it's not great, but it's enough for now. So let's take a look at... Okay, first thing we're going to do, we're going to retire him. Just throw him in my chest of goodbyes. And then we're going to... Let's just, I guess, throw him in the charm. Okay, so let's go controls, keybinds, terminal. So we're going to reset you. Not to that. Open wireless terminal. Shift plus E. That's how I like to do it. So then it's E for inventory or Shift E, and there's my terminal. There we go. So now if I go to somewhere where it's not going to work, like let's go out here, it'll just say wireless out of range. Okay. So at least now, when I'm up here doing whatever, I could say, oh, I really need another chemical reactor. Boom. Now I can tell it to make me another chemical reactor. I don't have to go downstairs for any of that. So, now let's look at the Infinity Booster card. Another star. Come on, man. Why you gotta be like that? Impure nether star. Earth, fire, ice, and lightning, and that's all at Ivy. Okay, how about you guys? Can we just teach you how to do that, and then let's grab patterns for me. Go to the pattern encoding. Then let's do wireless booster cards. Actually, let's do, I don't know, 10 of them. We'll see how much power that consumes. So we'll let him do his thing for a bit. How are we doing? We're doing fantastic on power. Because I'm curious, if I throw 10 of them in there, how much range am I going to get? And how much power is it going to consume? So you're currently 16 meters at 16 FE per tick. 47 meters. How many of those? Okay, let's just take a look. Increase the range. It doesn't tell me if there's a limit. So what if we do another 6 of those? I don't like that those machines do that because it makes me think they're running out of power. It freaks me out. Energize another star shard. Ooh, yeah. Lightning charge, which is blizz powder, which is platinum and deuterium. Yeah, that's all EV stuff. Okay, so we throw them in here. 80 meters. Okay. Technically, that's higher range than the other terminal. So we get rid of these guys. Yep, he still works out here. So now he should have the range within, like, the full base. Like, let's go over here. Oh, yeah, he's good. Alright, that works. Now we're set. So we got our terminal. How are we doing on heavy oil? I think we're gaining it almost as fast as we're using it. Let us go take a look. Every second, and you're every second, and you're doing 150, you're doing 100. Okay, so we're literally gaining more oil than we're actually cracking at the moment. And I don't... Other than it said it supports... Let's take a look at that again. has subtick parallels. I really don't know what that means. What is subtick parallels? Is that machine tools, throughput, threading, bulking, parallelization? That's probably what we want. Parallels are a machine mechanic that allows machines to run multiple of the same recipe at once, dramatically increasing throughput, though how they work is a little funky. Parallel hatches work by consuming the maximum amperage of a tier and using that to determine how many recipes it can run. Oh. A common misconception is that using two 4 amps or two 16 amp hatches to get 8 amp and 32 amp respectively will do nothing. It won't. All that does is give the machine larger buffer, not greater abilities. Another thing to note is multiple recipes run at once. The process will take slightly longer per batch. However, this trade-off is worthwhile since every 4x increase in parallels nets 2x more efficiency. Okay. There's math. So, can he be used in the distillation tower? I see we got all these large machines, but bulk blast chiller, rock sifter, essence. Oh, it can be done in the essence replicator. That's kind of nice. No, doesn't look like it. So it looks like the only way we can make the distillation tower is by just getting to better power tiers. Okay. I think almost all of these we can get rid of. Because we want to start clearing out this area and converting us into EV. Because I think we're at the point now where we're pretty much done with these guys. I think. I'll start getting rid of machines and seeing what gets mad. We got our magnet. Because we might actually be able to finally start getting away from the need for MV machines. You are just doing diluted sulfuric acid. Let's just get rid of you. We'll grab barrel, clean you out. Advanced ore washer. You're just doing rock salt, so we don't actually need you right now. Get you cleared out. Break you. Chemical bath. Technically, you guys are all running. Can you all be done? Vacuum, 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 vacuum freezer. Okay, we're just going to make the vacuum freezer do all those. Oops. Hot fluidic steel. I do two of the same one. Oh yeah, it does. It can't. It's stupid. And then blue steel ingot. Okay. Hey, that's good. Now we can clear him out. That is a good question. You give me a quick sec here. Just because I got this on the brain at the moment. I will go through the EBF with you. You guys can see how it's sharing its blocks. Okay. Maybe just grab a quick barrel real quick here. Throw that. That's all our batch of MV machines. Okay. So this is the EBF, or electronic blast furnace. So we'll wait for him to finish that. Okay. So technically, this is two EBFs in one solid block. So what they're currently actually sharing, we break this open a little bit so you guys can kind of take a peek. So currently they're sharing the entire middle row of blocks. So we can start kind of opening it up, and you guys can kind of see what that's actually doing. So like any EBF, it has the hollow center. So you kind of have to picture it like these blocks here, all the way back, don't exist. And then obviously in the center, you can see our ring of 3. But then, from this perspective, you can see our ring of 3. So because this middle row is only coil blocks, and then the regular heat-proof Invar machine casings, that's all these guys here. So it's just the heat-proof. So there's no input and output hatches in the middle blocks. It's just the coils and the heat-proof. You kind of have to think of it in retrospect or perspective of the electronic blast furnace structure block. He is seeing his entire 3 in this ring, and then this one is also seeing its 3 in this ring, if that kind of makes sense. So when we put them together, you see bloop bloop, structure formed, structure formed. This is the common sharing wall. So you kind of look at it like, we'll take this guy. It's the electric ore factory. So we know that one side of it looks like this, 3x3 with the little block on top. We look at the other side. That one I've never tried. I do not know if they can share inputs and outputs. I'm going to assume that they cannot. But yeah, you can see the similar pattern, 3x3 with the block on top. So if I wanted to build a second electric ore factory and I wanted to do wall sharing, what would be the second ore factory's right-hand wall is also this ore factory's left-hand wall, because it's the same blocks on the bottom, the same physical shape. So then both of the blocks, like both the machines can actually kind of tell the difference, and they'll make them all connect. So unless the tooltip specifically says they cannot wall share, most controllers are pretty stupid. They don't actually know what's going on. They just look for, does this block, relative to where I am, does this block exist? If it does, make the multi-block. If it doesn't exist, don't make it. But because when the second one's looking at it, this block still exists for it, as well as for this guy. Therefore, both of them can make multi-blocks while wall sharing. Let's see if there's... Maybe they have wireless power, throughput boosting, threading, bulking. I thought they had perfect overclock. Yeah, multi-block wall sharing. If you're running low on resources but want to speed up production, you can use one side of any already existing multi-block and build a second one off of it. You can share almost any blocks in a multi-block, including coils, input and output buses and hatches. The items tooltips will say if a block cannot be shared. Okay, so right there, it does say that it can share input and output buses, but I can almost guarantee, if we talk about the EBFs, I bet you, let's see if I got, no, I don't. Can I make quickly some heat-proof, I can't. Okay. So that's an input bus. And that's an input bus. So I bet you, if I put the multi-block back together and do that, both of them say their structure's formed, but I bet you if I put this in here, it'll drop to 62, and both of them will go at the same time. Yeah. So when you're sharing inputs, now technically they are both gonna get the exact same input of resources. So now these guys are working together as one, rather than how I had it, which was two isolated. So that's something you have to keep in mind when you're doing wall sharing. is, do you want them to work together as one, or do you want them working independently? Speed-wise, it's the exact same. As you can see, I put in 23 seconds, 23 seconds. If they were separate inputs and I put one neodymium in each one's, they would still be 23 seconds each. The added benefit that I have is I could have one guy do neodymium while one guy's doing aluminum, without having to have enough materials to make two individual. So, that is good to know. We'll wait for him to finish before we tear apart the multi-block, otherwise I'm going to lose the neodymium. And I don't really want to do that, because neodymium is kind of expensive. Good chance to take a drink of water. There we go. Okay. We'll break him. So, okay. So put him back. Him. And him. We'll set... I think I need to set you to 1. Yeah. And then you can just chew through the neodymium. We'll set you to 2. It might allow for the ability to technically have one common input, but have one blast furnace run nitrogen while one's running, like, say, helium. And then you can just tell everything that needs to go to the EBF to go in there. You might be able to get away with that. My guess is that when they're doing that common input, it's no different than what you see right now. So if we... That might cap out at 4 amps. No, 3.4 amps. But only one of them is running. My guess is when they're doing power sharing, like the way you saw it there, it's probably all the same amount of power, no matter how you're going about doing it. So it's still consuming 4 input hatches worth of power. It's just you're doing technically 2 at a time, because you're by having one dedicated input, it's splitting it to both controller blocks, if that makes sense. Makes sense to my mind. Yeah, I'm not really sure if... I don't really have an idea to make it any faster at the moment. Oh well, that's okay. Let's see here. Okay. So we'll throw that invar back in there. I don't mind making more invar because I am going to put a third one in. So technically, and this is something else you can kind of look at too. So if we cleared this out real quick here. If I wanted to make a third electric blast furnace and have it nichrome, technically I only need to put nichrome coils here. So that'd be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'd only have to make 10 more coils to add a third EBF in this location, rather than making 16 coils to make another EBF. You could... I don't know if maintenance hatches can be shared, but technically you can do all of it on top. So you don't necessarily need, but there should be enough block around here that you should be able to do all 3 furnaces on the roof to have your inputs and outputs be done, to put 3 side by side. Putting 3 side by side was something I was pondering how that would look as well. I wasn't sure. But I can't imagine it's very difficult. I do it, and we could experiment here on stream, but I don't have anywhere near... I don't have the nichrome blocks. Actually, why don't... Let's see if we can. I'm not afraid to give it a shot, because I would like 3. So we could experiment with 3. Okay. Let's make 3 furnaces. Let's make another electric blast furnace. Let's just do LV hatches. That's fine. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. Nichrome. So if I make 10 of you borosilicate, which is borosilicate, which is glass and boron. You just have to bear with me for a second here while I put this all together. Okay, let's take you guys. Wait, oh. Look it. Look it. That wandering trader is standing right here. He's got to be. If he existed, he's standing... Actually, wait. 3B. Oh, see, he's not... Can he do the dangle-dangle? He is still technically bound by something that doesn't exist. I wanted to see if that maybe his hitbox was there. Okay. That was a good side distraction while we waited for that to cook. Okay, nichrome. Let's make 10 of you. Yeah, and I still got 58 nichrome blocks. Okay. So let's clear all this out. Again. Let's have it make HV. We have 1 energy hatch. Let's make it do a second one. Then we could do... It'll be something like this guy right here. So those guys will be a minute here while we're waiting. Let's get some more of the Invar. Oh, I hate that. I can't pull my tools out. See? Okay, there's some more Invar blocks. I want my wrench. Let's drop off this fluid. Okay, that's all good. Looks like my HB energy hatch is done. So we do something like that. And then let's do the electric blast furnace. Let's clear out his inventory for now. But I'm not going to put it in the system because he's just going to fill it right back up. Clear all this out for now. Okay, now that he's done. Because I wouldn't mind upgrading some of my hatches. Let's do 3 of those. Man, that assemblers must be really chugging along. Yeah, 20 seconds per craft. That's why it's taking so long. Okay. I'll afterwards go and clean up all these hatches. Okay. Muffler. We don't have Honestly, an MV muffler hatch is perfectly fine. I don't think we really need, and that's just crafting. No crafting CPUs are available. That is okay. You are working on that crap. Okay, there's our nichrome. What did I have you make? Oh, the auto maintenance hatches. Oh yeah, those are gonna take a while because they need the arms and stuff. They're a little on the pricey side. Yeah, we are running very, very out of circuits. Like that was 18 circuits right there. Okay. I'm kind of thinking. Let's do their inputs right above the individual controllers. No, that's fluid. We want you. Whoops. Let's just make you the dummy. Bad block. Okay. Input bus. And then on the back side of each one, right here, we'll do the maintenance hatches. And I'm going to see if we can come up with a design that's, like, technically infinitely repeatable, but has distinct inputs. That might be a good idea. Yeah, those are going to be a minute. Okay. Oops. Okay, so I'm thinking for ease of simplicity, you're technically my middleman. Oh, we gotta ban you. Bye. We don't need that. Okay, there's the 3 auto hatches. They're done. Okay. So we know we want to do the 3 auto hatches. Did we ever get that muffler? Oh no, we couldn't do it yet. Muffler. Please make one of those. Power might be the interesting one. What? No, actually, no, not necessarily. Let's open up underneath. Give us a little bit of working room with these guys. Prettiness can come later. Have our muffler hatch. Take a nap. Okay. So let's grab all of our energy hatches. So we know that's the actual blast furnace block itself. So then let's do our energy hatches facing down. Okay. Let's grab all of these. Oops. Yeah, we don't have any MV buses, I don't believe. No. So that's fine. So we'll just have to accept that this guy's going to be a little mixed-matched color. So he has to be here. So technically, their inputs are individually distinguished. Now let's double check the multi-block wall sharing. You can share almost any block in a multi-block, including coils and input and output buses and hatches. The item tooltips will say if the block cannot be shared. Okay. So Because technically, if we did that, I guess technically if you did this and you filled him up with nitrogen, these two could do nitrogen. And if you filled him up with helium, these two can do helium. So this middle guy kind of becomes a swap, depending on what the recipe tells him he's allowed to do. This could do that. That wouldn't be the worst. Which technically means you could do that too. No, we don't need fluid outputs. I don't know why we have those. We want output buses. Because they have distinguished... So it doesn't matter what they make, they're not going to fight each other. This could do that. I guess if you really wanted... Like, if you were really concerned about fluid, which would make him, and him our new unique outputs, or inputs. It's like it wouldn't be perfect, but technically this would work. So we fill all this in. And then we go through here. He was fine. Oh. He was fine, but the middle guy is not fine. What don't you like, sir? Invalid structure. Okay, it doesn't like having the input bus. No, that's a load of crap. I know you're fine with having the input bus there because the other two are fine with it. The structure formed. Okay. So we know the maintenance hatches are all fine. Power is all fine. It might be... Let's see. Blast furnace. The electric smoker doesn't care. As far as the coil blocks are concerned, you are fine. Yeah, I'm really not sure what you don't like. Could be a combination of both of you guys. It might not be possible to do 3. How would it know? Like, okay, let's just take these out. Oh, you suck. Aha! Currently underneath is power. Okay. But if you want to do any form of overclocking with him, he's going to need the power. Trying to think here. Because he's got inputs, so you can take in items. He's got his maintenance hatch. I bet you as soon as we break that and put you there. Okay, you're okay with that. How about that? Okay. So now we have item input and item output. Okay. Now let's do fluid input. Yup. No. Okay. Okay, technically this does work. We have all our outputs. You would take care of you. You would take care of you and you. So what if put you there and you there? You're happy. Technically, this is a repeating cycle at this point. Because if you added one more to this guy, your hatches are already there. You just wrap him around, and he's done. If you wanted to add another one to this side, you just put in his input hatches, because that's a repeating design. Because that input will take care of these two. This one will take care of him. So it's weird, but it does technically work. The only thing is any fluid outputs of the electric blast furnace, I don't think there really is that many. Oh, there's one. It's like if you needed sulfur dioxide, I guess. Or carbon monoxide. Both mercury, but you can get all of that. And you need 3 individual. Like, at this point, I think if you're going to do the fluid outputs on any of these, you'd set up a specific blast furnace. Okay, so that technically... So yeah, technically it's 1 double, but if I added a 4th one in, then it's 2 doubles. And then if I added a 5th one, then it's 2 doubles and a single, and then 3 doubles and a single, 4 doubles, etc., etc., etc. But at this point, it is technically independent. No, you don't need a fluid output, because even if you do a recipe that has a fluid output, if it doesn't have a fluid output, it's just going to void it. And if you're doing a fluid output for some kind of specific resource, you could technically just set up another cheaper EBF just to do that one thing, or borrow some of your coil blocks for a bit and just set up a isolated EBF if you're specifically looking for the fluid outputs. But so far, I didn't look through all 387 of them, but so far the ones I did see were all mercury, nitrogen dioxide, gas, or steam, like crap you can make separate from the EBFs. Okay. So, I should probably do the wire itself. So let's clear out a little extra space. So we do that, that, and that. Let's hook you up, hook you up, hook you up. You. So you, EV, EV. And then we are going to need to put this 4 amp back. It just can't be done without it. Okay, let's take a wrench. Oops. Put him there, put him there. Okay, he's outputting EU. So they do have indistinguished inputs. It's just the fluid management that's the problem. That's the only one where it kind of has to do this single double, because here is the individual input buses. So let's say we do what's one nichrome. So put you in there, you in there, you in there. If I do it without nitrogen, we'll just do it without nitrogen. We just set you to circuit type 1. 1. 1. And 1. Yeah, hot nichrome, hot nichrome, hot nichrome. That is yep, the exact problem I thought. Why are you not taking power from around here? Converter. Okay, let's just process up another 16 amp converter. We'll just stop using you. So just need to wait for him to make his wire. He should be done any moment now. Yeah, it's kind of nice that with multi-blocks, you kind of have the choice with like their inputs and outputs on what you are and aren't going to use and all that fun stuff. Holy crap, man. It takes you a while to make all that wire. There we go. Throw him around. Okay. That's going to consume a ton of current. Like, I don't think I can actually... Yeah, so far it's doing it. But, yes, this is technically 3 blast furnaces with distinguished inputs doing their job. Let's go check these guys. All completely empty. That's fine. How about these guys? How's their buffer doing? Still holding. Okay, so I can actually run 3 EBFs at EV right now. Probably because stuff like the vacuum freezer isn't doing anything, and so I want to see how their outputs go. to make sure these two don't freak out and stupidly void an output. They shouldn't, because there's 9 distinguished. Yeah, 2 in there and 1 in there. Keep having to clear these stupid muffler hatches out. It's just kind of annoying. Throw all that crap in there. Okay. So yeah, everybody is happy. So let's start getting the AE2 system integrated into this. So we'll prep some cables out front. Bring all that around. I can bring that around. So the muffler hatches are not being covered. We'll import those. So he's gone. He's gone. Export. What were we doing? Nichrome. So let's just save him. We go to EBF. He wants nitrogen. Okay. So if we do... Oops, I should have done this. Okay. Please fill it up with nitrogen. Please fill it up with nitrogen. And technically, at this point, I could do one with helium if I wanted to, and then this guy would run purely helium. He's the one that could do, like, the flip-flop if he felt like it. So we can fill that back up. Fill this back up. Okay, you have nitrogen. You have nitrogen. Now, why don't we do something crazy here? We'll do 1, 2, 3. Any nichrome you see, please export it. Let's break the cable for a second. That'll disconnect everything. Let's hook it back up. I guess we can do the facades if we wanted to be fancy. May as well. Okay. So we tell that. So he's got nitrogen in his buffers. We're going to do nichrome. I don't really need to... I probably should do the neodymium, but whatever. This is fine. This is just a test. Just a test. So hook them up. All 3 kick in immediately. Except I need to switch their circuits to 2. Did forget to do that. So we're going to have to wait 50 more seconds to do a secondary test on this one. I love how I titled the stream like Black Gold, and we've only done one thing. Set up a distillation tower and get it going. But that's okay. That's okay. When I set my stream titles, I kind of guess what we're going to do today, and it never works out. And I don't care. I am perfectly happy with that. Okay. So all 3 of these, you should see all the blocks blink for a second as it switches its recipes. Potentially. Yeah, there they all blink. Okay, so 44, 44, and 44. So all 3 blast furnaces are seeing the nitrogen. So all 3 of them dropped their time to completion down. They're all running or using 1824 RF per tick. 3800K, 3800K, all 3 of them are 3800K. All of them don't seem to care about the outputs. They'll just put it wherever they want, and the inputs are all being shared. So there you go, Toby. That is a repeatable pattern EBF for 3 or more. Technically, it would work as 2. Or as one, honestly. And you know what's the greatest thing about all this? See if you can see my problem. I have to move the whole damn thing over one block. And I know exactly how I'm going to do it. I'm going to super glue it all together as a contraption and have Create push it. So I'm not tearing all that apart again. Okay. Yeah, I just realized there's one block, and that's right against, because there should be a wall there, so I'll have to move the whole damn thing over. Whatever. That's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Nope, give me that. Okay. Well, whatever. We figured it out. I've also been very curious on this. So, I was happy to spend the time figuring all that stuff out. That was fun. Yeah, and everybody's happy. Everybody's nice and full. I might have to put in acceleration cards in the export buses, just because these are slow. That's fine at 44 seconds, but some things, like trying to do the Skystone alloy, that's fast. Those print fast. Or smelt fast. Okay, and then we're gonna pretty him up. Facade. Let's grab one of you. Throw you there, throw you there. And then we're just going to fly under the island and tag you right there. And now, you should be going. Yes. I need that barrel. Okay. So the barrel and the cable's in there. Throw you into the ME system. This is my barrel of MV machines, so he can sit there. We can start taking these off. Bender, wire mill, arc furnace, brewery. Start pulling all this out. Let's throw them in there. Those MV machines right now for me are good enough that, quite frankly, if I want any auto crafting from those, I'm just going to take them. Whereas, like, the LVs, I'm not going to use. Let's grab all of these. There's none there. Okay. This stuff I want to move upstairs, but I also want to convert this to high voltage. Because I really want to retire... what is it? This one. I need him to stop. In fact, I might just replace, because I have two of them, I might just replace this distillery with another mixer. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Because mixers are slow, and I know not 1,000 of them. Jeez. Wow. I cannot imagine what it would actually take to do that. Like, time-wise. Okay. There's our secondary mixer. We're gonna shut him down. We'll just put that there for now, I guess. Okay. So we need to set up all this stuff. So that's all imports. These are exports. Let's clear all that. So one of them is going to get stone dust and lubricant, redstone and creosote, and 2 of them are going to get water. Okay. Let's break all that. What's their final? Oh, we'll just grab their final. Let's just clean up all of this. Let's grab a few drums. Clean up everybody's inventory. Okay. And that marks the official retirement of MV within my main production room. Okay. So at this point, we don't need him anymore. Clean that up. Let's grab a couple buckets. Have any more in my backpack? Nope, I sure don't. Let's grab all of you. All of you. And you. And there we go. Okay. So let's start making a couple of machines that we're going to need. Starting with lubricant. So we're going to need a distillery. I think we're actually going to need 2 of them. No, a distillery. 1 to make lubricant. Oh, I should just teach you how to make a Canthal spring. Wait, what? Oh, that's a bender. Oh, that's easy. And then a large rod right there. Okay. Large rod. And then we do a bender. We'll put him down there. Okay. Let's make a distillery. And another mixer. And we'll let those guys go. I think what we'll do, we should be able to still do the automation, but from this side with our little level emitters. Should be able to. I don't know how that's going to look quite yet, so you might have to bear with me a little bit. Or we could just not stress ourselves out and just move it. Maybe we'll do that stuff over here. Yeah, let's just do it. Well, no, because it goes off this. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Okay. There'll be a new lineup of machines. Space it out from the wall 1. And we'll do that. Okay, so if we look here, no machine, no machine, no machine, no machine. Okay, that actually works Okay. I go up, up, over, over.
Lizard, 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 lizard,
So many lizards.
lizard.
Okay, these machines are gonna be a little different. Oh, we also need... Oh no. Need 2 distilleries. That's what it is. That's what I was thinking, because we still need to make distilled. Grab our wired cutters. So let's make 1 more distillery. I'll let you get going on that. Because, yeah, eventually I want to cut this line out. The reason I did it kind of this way and started the MV on this side, eventually I want to cut this line out and put in another row of, like, auto-crafting machines. But then the next row go here, next one, and then this one. So everything is working out really well. Spin 10,000. 0 out of 3, 0 Bullzilla bucks. Oh man, what a shame. That's okay. I showed up, tried, failed. Apparently it wasn't liking it today. That's okay. These things happen. Okay, so let's do import buses. And then these are going to be considered like our fluid regulated machines. And I'm probably going to make a gas collector that's high voltage and move him along with him. Okay, so let's put him, and him there. Okay, distillery number 1. You are going to get water. Easy peasy. Lubricants. Let's look at... I know, creosote and all that makes lubricant. So you're going to get water. And then you're going to get creosote and redstone. You're going to get water, lubricant, and stone dust. And that'll make the drilling fluid. Creosote and redstone will make the lubricant. Okay. So you're going to make drilling fluid. So we want to tell you, drilling fluid, I want 1,000 buckets. No, that's ridiculous. 500 buckets. 500 buckets of drilling fluid. Lubricant. 500 buckets. And then your distilled water. I want as well 500 buckets. I think that's more than reasonable. Now we're going to take our redstone cards. We're going to put them in the import buses. We're just going to tell them active without signal. And these guys are going to, when they go over their 500 bucket amount, we want it to emit when levels are above or equal to those limits. So when we hit that limit, it's going to turn the torch on. And then this one is going to say active without signal. So if the torch is on, it's no longer active. So that's how we're controlling it. And then that should deal with all of our fluid regulation for us. And then we just need to go into these, do that, switch him, switch him. Okay. So now, let's grab some cable. Bring all that over. And you can already see everybody's going. So you've already got over 500 buckets of distilled water in there. So he's going to wait. And then if we look at lubricant, We get 78 buckets. He's allowed to make up to 500. Lubricant I don't mind, just because we use that in all our cutting machines and everything. And then there's drilling fluid. There's actually none in the system, probably because it sucked it all up. And we're actually only going to do 200 buckets. Yeah, 200 buckets is good. Then we're gonna start giving this. Okay, distilled. We want a distillery. So we need circuit number 1. So he can make it, but it's not going to get imported back into the system. Okay, to make lubricant with redstone and creosote. You should just do it. Creosote, redstone. Should just make lubricant. Creosote, redstone. You're getting power. And that's because you're a brewery, not a distillery. Yes. Okay, and you're the exact same. Oh, it helps when you read. Okay, let's make a brewery. That makes me sad. Waste of beautiful resources. You said large rod. Shut up, lag. Oh, leg, it seems like so far the general consensus is all the bonds is kind of the interest at the moment. Okay, so you're going to do lubricant. You're active without signal, so you should be importing. And you're not. Probably because you have no ME cable. So we'll just do that. And now, yep, everybody's importing, everybody's happy, everybody's hunky-dory. Let's throw you in. You definitely need one because you produce it way too fast. In fact, we're going to get a few acceleration cards going here. You clearly need it. You also clearly need it. You probably need it. No, because you only do like 6 or 200 millibuckets at a time. If anything, you could probably go for a second one. That's fine. Everybody's importing all nice and happy. Yeah, we'll just leave you with... Then you can run as fast as you want. And then you'll make up to 200 buckets of drilling fluid. This torch is going to blink on and off a lot. Because our other... Yeah, see, now he's back on. He saw me blink for a split second there. So, he'll do his job. Yeah, there he goes. Because the void extractor uses like 5 buckets every time. So probably at this point, we could probably slow you down a bit. And then, yeah, he'll just keep bringing in whatever he needs. Ah, screw it. Let's just leave him in there, and then everybody's happy. There. He'll just run as he needs. Okay, so that should be all 3 fluids. Distilled water, I'm perfectly okay with doing that. What do I have used to? Yeah, you can keep 1,000 buckets. Actually, distilled water, we don't... 500's fine. If it can't make it fast enough, then that's a different problem. We don't need a ton of it on hand. But we've got 5,000 buckets, because for the last forever, I have not been regulating distilled water. Okay. So that's done. Now we don't have that hanging off the back. So now we got a nice, new, clean area to start putting all our machines in. Now, we need to go look at the superconductor. So EV is Inderium. Yay. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick second. I'm going to run to the bathroom. So just give me a sec here. Be right back. Alright, we are back. So, Inderium. We need to look into that. It's probably going to be a very expensive cable, but personally, I like running all the superconductors, if I can. So what is it going to take? Kind of assumed that. Hot Inderium... Yeah, it's nitrogen, EV, and it needs nichrome. Okay, so this is literally our next. Okay. So we need ender pearl, diamond, and lead. Surprisingly not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Okay, and that will give us... So if we do 3 stacks of him, a stack of him, and 2 stacks of him, that's 4 stacks of Inderium dust. Okay. I don't mind that. As long as we have the lead. We do have the lead. Okay. So let's do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stacks. And then we'll need 3 stacks of diamond and 3, 6, 9, so 2 for 6 stacks of ender pearl. Which we're just gonna grind up a block of ender pearls. Oh my goodness. This poor macerator has been having a rough time. I've been kind of abusing him. Oh, I guess we also need to do the diamonds, too. But let's just... Stop trying to ruin my life, please. Let's just disconnect you. This macerator cannot keep up. Like, at all. Ever since I put the new cutter in, just cannot keep up. I made a mistake. My energy inputs blew up. Oh, no. Well, at least it only blew up the energy inputs and not the entire multi-block. That would really super, super suck. Okay, we needed... Yeah, 6 stacks of you. You're a mixer. Let's just confirm. 3, 6, 9, 2, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yep, that sounds about right for me. Okay. So let's see, 1 of you, 3 of you, and 2 of you. Put everybody else in there. And then Mr. Macerator can get rehooked back up. We'll put our MV converter in there. I will hang on to the wire. Through you. I'll just throw all that crap in there. It is fine. It is fine. Okay. So yeah, he's gonna do his job best that he can. He is also going to do his job the best that he can. And then we're going to take the Enderium, because that's going to take a hot minute. I'm betting. Yep. Okay, we don't actually need you to work on Nichrome right now. That is fine. Please stop. No, we want you, and you. And you're going to do our Enderium, which is 40 seconds per... Yep, right on to money. Once we can get them to IV, which we'll be able to do somewhat soon-ish. Okay, we'll clear all that crap out. We'll let that guy run for a while. Eventually, we're going to end up with a bunch of hot Enderium. So, vacuum freezer, MV, perfectly fine. 16 seconds a pop. Because we are running at EV. So, he is perfectly fine. Because he just needs to be MV. And there he goes. So, it'll take 4.2 seconds instead of 16. Okay. So, now we need to do... EV. Actually, let's just do converter. What's... Oops. Clicked off screen. I hate when I do that. Come on. I can't see. There we go. Okay, 1 amp, 8 amp, 16 amp, or 64 amp. Ooh, okay. Can we do any of them? I wonder, do we make... Is this the machine hull? Kinda wondering, like... Do we just make a 1 amp to get our assembler going? And then do... Yeah, I don't mind that. Let's just do a 1 amp. Wire mill. You're just regular crafting. You're going to go into my wire mill. Okay. So technically, if we do an EV 1 amp converter, he can do it. Okay. So they're all gonna do that. He sucked up the resources. Let's look at Enderium. They are surprisingly chewing through the Enderium almost as fast as we're making it. Crazy sauce. But that's fine. We should have 12 stacks of Enderium when we're done, which works for me. Yeah, Enderium ingot. Okay, there's our 1 amp converter. Okay, so if we look at Enderium wire, he by himself can do 32 amps. Which is not bad. Because I think it's literally 8, 16, and then straight to 64. So if we do a 2x, there's our full 64. So our primary superconductor for EV is going to be 2x Enderium. It's probably way overkill. But because it's going to be right here, I'm just going to loop it underground and connect our blast furnaces up to it, so it doesn't hurt to go a little overkill. So let's do 12. That works for me. Okay. So we're going to do him. I'm going to go like this. Nothing crazy. Just going to do that. And there we go. And now, there he is. Our Advanced Assembler 3. So this guy can now make our 64 amp converter. And I might do a quick little pattern provider. Just let him do his job for a minute. And I might just teach it to auto-craft it so I don't have to auto-craft that crap myself. It's wrong, I know, but it's fine. Let's grab another crafting card. Microprocessor. Let's grab one of him. Combine those two. There's our circuit programming card. Oops. Eventually we'll move like our actual auto crafting upstairs, but for now auto crafting is going to stay at high voltage for a while because that's just a lot of machines to replace with extreme voltage. So I might do a little bit of auto crafting with this. And then what we're going to do, we're going to say down is auto output and you're allowed. So now he can technically do auto crafting. We're just going to disconnect that for now. Okay. So let's teach him how to do the 64K. We're going to teach our wire mill how to make the 16X wire. Throw him in there. And let's see if we can do converter 64 amp. Need 107 more Enderium before we can do a 64 amp. Okay, that's fine. But what we are going to spend a minute here doing is now we have the technology. We are going to make an extended pattern provider, finally, which is going to be a godsend quite frankly. And we're going to start going through one by one. The first guy that's going to get it is going to be the assembler. Not all of them are going to need the extendeds. Provider. Extended. Oh my good golly gosh. Okay. Let's throw our barrel in there. It's the mega. We want the extended. Yeah. Nope, that's the enlarged. I did the wrong one. I need you. Oh my goodness. Do not push if crafting ingredients, if inventory contains... Boom. And now, let's go to our second assembler. Grab all of his. And now our one assembler can do all of that. And now, let's go to our other assembler. Let's grab his mega. Let's uncraft those. Double skystone. Let's teach the vendor how to do double. Last time I just made them. Oops. Gold. We need the double gold skystone. And the bender can do that. Bender. There. Available too. He's got some circuits he needs to make. But that's okay. And I'm pretty sure at the end of the day, when I start doing EV upgrades up here, the first ones to get EVs are gonna be the assemblers. Because they're the ones that need it desperately. The other nice thing about these extended pattern providers, they, unlike the yellow ones, the megas, the extendeds can actually work with molecular assemblers, which means we can go from 9 to 36 on each of these guys. Which is awesome. Okay, what is he working on? Cutting chips. So yeah, now I'll be able to go through, start, teaching the cutter how to make everything. I need to make another, probably 2 laser engravers. I can't remember. No, I don't think I taught it how to make that. Because there's a third chip color. Or, wafer color. Which one? Well, the RAM, these ones, the SOCs. So I've just been making them, but it'd be nice to teach the laser engraver how to do it. Because I need basically a laser engraver for every color of glass lens. Same as the problem that I run into with the extruders. Okay, so he's chugging along. He's doing his thing. How much time do they take? 20 seconds each. Not great, not bad. But there we go. Alright, Mr. Assembler. Oops. You're gonna get one, you're gonna do that, and then you're gonna switch that. And if I had to guess, let's go look at other ones. Oh, look at it. It's beautiful. So much more space. Probably the only other one I could think of right now that could really use one are the wire mills and the benders. Could definitely use one. Especially the bender that's doing the plates. I can't remember which one that one is. I think it's this one. Bender is right there. No. Where's the other bender? There he is. Let's swap him out. Let's put you in. We'll teach you all of the plates. There we go. I'll do that off camera. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to upgrade all of these to the extendeds. But that's just not something we need to do right now. Okay. I think the only other EV machine that I really like is a mixer. So we can make more Enderium faster. Yeah, because the blast furnaces... Oh no, they can't quite keep up right now. That's okay. What do I have for diamond dust kicking around? Can I do anything with this purified diamond dust? Put it in a centrifuge or an ore washer? Sifters don't need a fluid. Chemical baths, I don't really want to give it a fluid. Autoclave, bender, cutter, extractor. Ore washer. I'm going to use one of my export buses. Stills. It's great. I don't really need purified diamond dust for anything. Actually, what does it get as a byproduct? Graphite. Do not care. Okay. We're going to remember you. We're going to go to our ore washer, and we're going to tell you, if you ever see purified piles of diamond dust, please throw it in there. Get it out of my face. I do not want it. And he's not going to do it until he's full. That's fine. Okay. Did I really make a distillery and not grab that distillery? I thought that was, like, kind of the whole point. Well, whatever. Pick up that export bus. Let's grab you, sir. Let's put you there, put you there. Okay. Let's throw all that crap in there. Let's see what we got for ender pearl dust. Mixer E4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Lead. So if we did 4 of you, we need to do 6 of you. And then diamonds. Wait, is that ore wash? Is that not what it went? Ore washer. Oh, you need circuit type 2, that's why. No. Don't tell me this is the wrong machine. Ore washer. Ore washer. Ore washer. Maybe it has to be regular water. Yeah, it has to be regular water. Hey, never mind on you. Get out of there. Because I know I don't have any ore washers kicking around here. I don't really want to do it in a centrifuge. Here, your centrifuge. How long are you actually going to take? Well, you're not terribly long. Oops. Okay. That's fine. Once he passes 128, we're also going to get a ton of it more when we do the ore processor, like graphite and stuff like that, but that thing just, oh, that thing just cannot keep up. So next stream might be us spending some time going through and just dealing with that problem. It's becoming a bit much. We also have a lot of exquisite and flawless dust or diamonds. Do we need them for anything? Can't imagine. The exquisite. No, I've already made the diamond lens. So other than that, they don't really have a purpose. Okay, well, let's throw off 1, 2, 3. Okay. Top him up with a bit more Enderium. I didn't realize it was going to take 107 bloody ingots. Of course. Of course you're empty. Okay, we're going to go back for power supply. We can afford losing more diamonds. There, those will bump up to 7,200 RF per tick each. And now we seem to be catching up. Only got about 10 minutes left. There we go. Here's our other pile of diamond dust. Throw him in there. Okay. So we'll have to remember 92,000. Let's grab my clipboard. 92K diamonds. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the game running when I run out in like 10 minutes. And we'll see if the two sieves can actually keep up and still potentially profit on emeralds. The other one we can, or diamonds. The other one we can do is we could look at lapidary dynamos again for emeralds. Is there like a benefit to the lapidary? Oh no. Super hot steam, No. What other dynamos could we look at? Could look at steam dynamos. Compression dynamos? Okay. Tree oil, refined fuel, 1.5 million RF. Gasoline, diesel. Okay. We might have to make a shoot ton of these guys. Because now that we're getting basically infinite different fuels. What do the other types of oils give us? This is just regular oil. Distillation. It's all the sulfuric and then raw. Same thing. Heavy oil is just the best. Okay, so nothing changes on that. Okay, so we're gonna have to start making diesel, gasoline, all that crap, so we can start getting into potentially the steam dynamos. I'm gonna say so far the diamonds are improving because they're about 150 to 200 higher. All these guys are running, and they'll slow down in a bit here once this buffer, and this buffer's already up like 20 million. Okay, that should work. Okay, so I'll leave this all running. Everything's good. So I think other than that, that's pretty much where we're going to have to wrap it up today. So a bit of a shorter stream, but like I said, at the end of, or at the beginning of this stream, tomorrow we're going to do a bonus one. It's not normally the StarTech Day, but we're going to do it anyways, just to make sure we still get our 3 streams in for this week, because, again, I'm not here tomorrow. Today is my last day, or tomorrow's, sorry, is my last day for streaming. Friday, I'm not here, which is our normal StarTech Day. So, yeah, look forward to seeing the stream tomorrow. Same time, 1 o'clock, my local time. For reference, it is now 4 o'clock, my local time. So, sorry about that, Revo. Yeah, unfortunately, I do have to wrap it up here. I have to leave for the city in 5 minutes. So, and I still gotta shut everything down and whatnot, so. But that's okay. If you're around tomorrow, Revo, I am on doing the stream tomorrow with Star Technology. So, we'll be able to hang out there, so hopefully you're around tomorrow, and tomorrow I can do a bit of a longer stream. So, we're not cut off. So we'll try to make up for it tomorrow. And we'll go from there. So, but other than that, I'm sorry, guys. I do have to go, though. I wish I could stay, but that's okay. We'll be back on. We'll get going on this again soon. Speaking of boo, Revo, I'm booing you right now. Right here, look into my eyes. I am booing you right now. You have not done an ATM 10 stream in, like, many hours, many days, and I'm upset. So, if you're gonna boo anybody, you have to boo yourself for not doing ATM. And just as I spoke, the lightning struck. Exactly. So, yeah, Revo, no booing. Alright, guys. We'll chat with everybody later. Thanks for all those that hung out. That was awesome. Good times. Always appreciated. And we'll see everybody later. Bye-bye!